All right, good evening, folks, and welcome back to Wilderness Wargaming. Tonight we're going to look at today's release from Games Workshop of new rules and additional rules for transports. Uh, Given that they're a lot tougher, we can probably expect some other changes, and we're going to take a look at them here, so let's get right into it. So let's see, in the past, only certain units were allowed to bundle out of transport in the same turn and moved due to the strict health and safety regulations at this point in history. Yeah. With the galaxy tumbling into turmoil, these concerns have fallen by the wayside. Now, any embarked unit is free to hop out once the transport is moved, but it didn't advance or fall back. And also shoot, can't make a charge unless they disembark before the vehicle moves. Okay. Major improvements for mechanized armies that leap from the roots of close range of Tau, Astronauts, Arty, and power-clad warriors of all times. I don't know so much about the Tau or Eldari. They like to, or the Astronauts, they like to sit a little further back. But, it'd be good with certain units. Still can't embark and disembark on the same turn, but you don't need to keep your engine running for a turn before the doors open, which, coupled with their newfound durability, makes fielding transports more appealing than ever. Okay. In the past, certain open-top vehicles allowed the troops inside to fire out, and this has been consolidated with your firing deck X. Choose one weapon from each given number of embarked models, such as a plasma gun and melta gun from Acadian shock troops and a Chimera with firing deck 2. Now is equipped with them for some shooting attacks. Okay, so first data point here. Firing deck. Some transports have firing hatches, ports, or platforms from which embarked passengers can shoot. Just as a quick aside before we go over this, one point, I believe back in the 1970s, the Soviets actually thought infantry should fight this way, firing out of firing ports on the side of their vehicles. And I believe it's right when the BMP-1, the first true armored fighting vehicle, which provided significant firepower of its own, as opposed to an armored personnel carrier, which is basically just an armored box battle taxi for infantry. That's kind of where this comes from. The Chimera is, in many ways, reminiscent of Soviet BMP vehicles. So, some transport models have firing deck X listed in their abilities. Each time a model is elected to shoot in the shooting phase, you get embarked within it. Each of those embarked models, you can select one range weapon that model is equipped with. The transport is resolved all of its attack. It counts as being equipped with all the weapons you selected in this way, in addition to its other weapons. Previously embarked troops couldn't benefit from both speed. Now, because the transport itself is making the attack, the weapons gain boost the vehicle does. For instance, an orc mech can use his Mechaniac ability to act as a powerful force master for the battle against mech firing deck 22. Okay, so that's pretty cool. But that's also that's an interesting point. It basically makes it easy to understand. We just treat the vehicle as if it were equipped with the weapons. We don't even have to worry about ballistic skills. The ballistic skill is part of the weapon, so you take all the weapon's information and apply the rules for the vehicle to it. So that's pretty good. Very simple, easy to understand, um, pretty easy to utilize. I don't see anything wrong with this. This sounds pretty good. I'm also kind of delighted with the idea of firing deck 22 on a battle wagon. I can't remember when the last time I saw a battle wagon was. Not in 20 years, at least not in real life. But I kind of hope I run into one now. Okay, Mechaniac, Orc. What does he do at the end of your movement phase? I guess he's a mech, and yeah, he's an orc mech. Sorry, I'm not too familiar with the orc terminology. Okay. Into your movement phase, you can select one for another orc within 3 inches. Gives up D3 lost wounds. Start the vehicle makes an attack. Add 1 to the hit roll. Okay, one to return. Okay, so basically he's a tech marine. Like heals the vehicles and he can give them a buff to shooting. Alright, some vehicles with special abilities such as fast moves like the Impulsor and Astronauts Taurox, which can disembark troops even after advancing. Okay. This thing actually looks an awful lot like a Cougar MRAP vehicle that we used to use, only with 4 little tracks. Huh. I don't know why you would put 4 tracks on it as opposed to instead of putting just 2 big ones. It seems, oh well. Warhammer, why not? Okay, you can start after advance. Do those kinds of new. It cannot declare a charge, but can otherwise act normally. Okay. All right, that can be handy. Land Raider reclaims assault ramp, meaning passengers can declare a charge on the certain turn they disembark. Okay, that's pretty good. During the glory of limiting terminators, hot and fresh and headlong assaults, you'd be right, but it's not the only space marine transfer with this newfound flex. I might at some point end up having to spring for a Land Raider. Just a couple of exceptions. Street marine transfers no longer care whether the Primaris unit is riding in the back or not. Okay, so I guess we're going to talk about the exceptions down below. Also, that is really nice. We no longer have this silly, oh, you can't get into this empty space in the back of this vehicle because Primaris kind of rules. Okay. The repulsor goes up to 12. Wow. Each jump pack Wolf and Gravis. So you can put jump packs in them. Wolf and Gravis, Model T2, and Centurions. So you could put Centurions in there. That's pretty awesome. What else? Many other transport you can use in life. Character forward. The Chimeras often used as a command post. Extra military officers. Makes sense. They can bark orders from the relative safety with the mobile command rule. Your command phase 1 officer model embarked within this transport can issue orders even though it is not on the battlefield. When doing so, measure distances to and from the transport. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Armored command vehicle? Yeah, you can do that. In fact, in real life, it's not uncommon for heavy brigade, heavy infantry, basically heavy brigade combat teams, brigade commanders or battalion commanders to fight from the fighting vehicle. It's got a lot of radios in it, and it allows them to keep an eye on the fighting. Falcon Grav tank and supporting fire targets the freshly deployed Eldar get to reroll wound rolls against the same unit, giving the craft rolls a fast 1-2 punch for overall firepower, or lethal blade work that really fits the purpose as the premier aspect warrior delivery system. Okay. In your shooting phase, select one enemy until the end of each time a model that disembarked from this transport this turn makes an attack targets that enemy unit, you can roll the wound roll. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now it can directly actually help out the unit it was carrying around. Now it says overall firepower or lethal blade work. So since you can't charge in the same turn it moved, and you'd want to probably keep Howling Banshees or something like that inside it to keep them protected. And it did have to just sit there for a turn before they could charge. This seems to me like this is going to have a rule similar to the drop pod effect that the Falcon has now. It's going to probably either at least allow units to charge right after disembarking. I strongly suspect. Own place within its roster as a fire support, fast deployment, or even a gateway vehicle. Okay, getaway vehicle. There are only a small part of the enormous changes coming in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. Check out the hub to see what else is new. Okay. Okay, so I guess that's basically telling us there's not going to be any such thing as dedicated transport anymore. That's interesting. One of the roles there's apparently going to be fire support. I guess we already knew about battle line. I'm not quite sure how else things are going to be renamed yet. I don't think that's out yet. But okay. Rhino, Razorback, and Impulsor still specialized for certain squad types. Many larger models like Terminators and Gravis still have their own restrictions. Okay. That's endangered Space Marines dive inside when an enemy charge draws near. I wonder if the Impulsor is still going to be Primaris only or heavily restricted. Rhino and Razorback. That makes all. I don't know. It's not great. This is the only for my Salamanders. The Impulsor is the only transport I own right now, and I don't see myself getting any new ones. But overall, I like it. Definitely adds to the flexibility, makes the transports more dynamic. I really never did like that. You can get out, but then you can't charge, or you have to, or rather, you can only get out at the beginning of the turn. That I didn't like that. It really made it too easy, in my view, to maneuver around transports that didn't have some kind of immediate disembark rule. So I'm really glad to see this change. I think it'll be better, and it also I kind of like that it helps out the short range shooting armies a little bit, letting them, you can rush something like fire dragons in there with a falcon, and then just pop right out with them and blast away. I'll be excited to see how this develops once it integrates. Anyhow, that's all I have tonight on this article. Pretty short one. We'll be back again very soon with more great content from Wilderness Wargaming. Please remember to like and subscribe down below and ring the notifications bell. And I will see you again very soon. Bye.